In the insect world, death comes in many forms. Honeybees tear out their own abdomens when they sting, dying slowly with their organs hanging like ribbons. Termite queens are devoured alive by their own children after 50 years of service. Cockroaches lose their will to live after a wasp injects venom directly into their brain. But there is one death that is different from all of these. A death that happens during the most important moment of your life. A death you see coming. A death you could avoid. But you do not, because the alternative is worse than dying. The male praying mantis doesn't die by accident, and he doesn't die because he's weak. He dies because evolution did the math and decided his death is worth more than his life. The male praying mantis reaches sexual maturity with one biological imperative driving everything he does: reproduce before he dies. He needs to find a female, and when he does, he faces an immediate problem, because she is larger than him, stronger than him, and she is always hungry. To her, he is not just a potential mate, he is also food, protein-rich and readily available. The male has a choice, though calling it a choice is generous, because evolution already made the decision for him millions of years ago. He can avoid mating entirely and stay alive, guaranteeing his genes die with him. Or he can approach the female, attempt to mate, and accept that there is a very real chance she will kill him in the process. One option offers survival with genetic extinction. The other offers death with genetic immortality. The approach is where the first deaths happen. The female is an apex predator with reflexes faster than almost any other insect, and if the male approaches carelessly or makes a single wrong movement, she will strike before mating even begins. He moves slowly from behind, freezing whenever she turns her head, mimicking the swaying of leaves in the wind to avoid detection. This can take hours, and during all of it, he is one mistake away from being killed for nothing. Studies show that 13 to 28% of males die before they ever get the chance to mate. They approached too quickly or got detected too early, and the female killed them the same way she would kill any other prey. Their genes disappear completely, erased from existence without a single offspring to show for the risk they took. Evolution does not care about effort or intention. It only cares about results. If the male makes it close enough without being detected, he jumps onto the female's back and mating begins. This is when the real danger starts, not before. The female can rotate her head 180 degrees, and at some point during mating, she turns and looks directly at the male still mounted on her back. There is no warning and no hesitation. She reaches back with her forelegs, grabs him, and bites down on his head. The decapitation is quick and clean. His head comes off in one bite, sometimes two, and she begins eating it immediately while his body is still attached to her and still mating. This is where it gets disturbing, because the male's body does not stop. Without a head, without a brain, without any ability to process what is happening, his body continues mating as if nothing has changed. This is not a malfunction, and it is not residual nerve activity. The mating reflex is not controlled by the head at all. It is controlled by the abdominal ganglion. Removing the head does not stop mating. It removes the inhibition that would normally regulate it. Headless males actually mate more effectively than males with their heads still attached. They transfer sperm faster, in greater quantities, and with more vigor than they did before decapitation. The removal of the brain eliminates the neural circuits that would normally moderate the mating process, and what is left is pure reproductive reflex operating at maximum capacity. The female continues eating while this happens. After the head comes the thorax, then the legs, consumed piece by piece, while the male's body continues its biological function. The mating can continue for 3 to 4 hours after decapitation, long after most of the male's body has been consumed, because the abdominal segments containing the reproductive organs are the last parts she eats. There is no pain because there is no brain left to process it, and there is no consciousness left to experience what is happening. What remains is a biological machine executing its final program, transferring genetic material until there is physically nothing left to continue the process. Here is why this matters. Scientific studies comparing males who survive mating with males who get eaten during mating show a measurable difference in reproductive success. Males who die during the process produce approximately 40% more offspring than males who escape alive. The reason is direct and simple. The protein from the male's body goes immediately into egg production. Females who consume the male during mating produce larger eggs, healthier eggs, and more of them. The male's genes do not just get passed on through sperm, they get converted into the raw materials that build the next generation. His death is an investment in his own genetic legacy. From an evolutionary standpoint, the math is brutal but clear. A male who survives and never mates has 0 offspring. A male who mates and escapes might have 50 offspring. A male who mates and dies might have 70 offspring. Death is quantifiably more successful than survival. The males who do escape are not making a better choice. They are just getting lucky. A well-fed female is less likely to eat the male because she does not need the nutrients as desperately. A hungry female will almost certainly kill him because the protein matters more. The male has no control over which scenario he encounters. He can only control whether he takes the risk at all. This is the tragedy at the center of it all. The male is not stupid and he is not suicidal. He is executing exactly the strategy evolution designed him to follow. Maximize genetic legacy regardless of personal cost. Prioritize reproduction over survival. Accept death if it means more offspring. Every male who avoided this risk, every ancestor who chose safety over mating, left fewer copies of his genes and got outcompeted by the males who did not hesitate. The female isn't cruel and she isn't evil. She's optimizing for the same thing the male is, which is producing the maximum number of successful offspring. When she eats him before mating, he was too slow and she was hungry, and his death produces nothing. When she eats him during mating, she gets both his sperm and his nutrients, and his death produces the maximum possible benefit for both of their genes. When she eats him after mating, he successfully transferred everything and escaped with his life. But his offspring will be slightly less robust than they could have been. This isn't murder. It's a collaborative strategy that evolved because it works better than the alternative. He provides genetic material and physical resources. She provides the eggs, the development, and the continuation of both their lineages. The system is optimized for genetic success, not individual survival. Well-fed females in controlled environments do eat males significantly less often than starving females, which proves this isn't about aggression or instinct gone wrong. It's resource management. She kills him when she needs the nutrients more than she needs him alive, and she lets him go when she doesn't. The decision is practical, not emotional. So why is this brutal? Because in almost every other species, death during reproduction is a failure. It means something went wrong. A predator intervened. The environment was hostile. The individual was weak. But for the male praying mantis, death during reproduction is success. He doesn't die despite mating. He dies because mating worked exactly as evolution designed it to work. The honeybee dies defending her colony, which is tragic, but serves a clear defensive purpose. The termite queen dies after decades of service, betrayed by the system she built. But the male mantis dies to reproduce, and his death directly increases the number of offspring he produces. It's not noble, and it's not tragic. It's efficient. Nature doesn't optimize for fairness or kindness. Nature optimizes for effectiveness, for strategies that produce the most surviving offspring, regardless of what that costs the individual. And this strategy, this exchange of life for genetic success, is extraordinarily effective. The male praying mantis doesn't die because he's weak. He doesn't die because she's cruel. He dies because evolution did the math and decided his death is worth more than his life. And in the brutal mathematics of evolution, that's all that matters.